Beyond Dreaming by Jean Hart, a guide to awakening consciousness through the path of astral projection and out-of-body experiences. Part 6, My First Out-of-Body Experience, July 25, 2011. One night, I found myself waking up in the middle of my sleep. However, instead of waking up regularly, I stayed still and immediately began spontaneously feeling trembling vibrations all over my body, like an earthquake. I started to see colors swirling in my vision through my closed eyelids. I heard noises, like a mix of a hurricane and white noise. All of these extrasensory phenomena became so intense that I eventually began to have the feeling that I can lean into them and separate from my physical body, and thus I floated upwards. It was a slow and intense separation. As I gradually detached, I saw my physical body fast asleep beneath me. This new type of ghost-like body, which I had never experienced before, felt acutely energetic, as if I was on the constant descent of a roller coaster whilst having continual electrical goosebumps. I felt blisteringly alive, but at the same time, heavy and more real than anything I have ever experienced before in my waking life, and definitely more palpable and physical than any of the hundreds of lucid dreams I had beforehand. I felt the weight of my energetic body lowered to my bedroom floor, and I felt the tactile sensation of a carpet under my feet. I looked around my dark-lit room, which felt more natural and vivid than I'd ever seen before. It had a luminous and magical quality to it. I was awestruck, especially because this was nothing like the countless lucid dreams I had before this. I was indeed separate from my physical body and brain as I observed it sleeping in my bed. There was truly no doubt about this. My environment clearly had an independent existence of its own. I barely felt the possibility of manipulating the environment, which is so easy and natural in lucid dreams. I examined my room. The moonlight through the window cast shadows on the floor and wall. I moved my hands slowly in and out of the moonlight and touched my bedroom wall. I saw it in blisteringly shocking detail. I had never seen my wall and hands in such a fresh and realistic way before. It was strange to think that all of this felt highly physical, yet I knew it was in the non-physical. When we successfully astral project, it's like we have a stronger cushion protecting us from thoughts entering and ruining the experience with its labels, and we are left with only pure, uninterrupted experience, with a vividness alike to take in a psychedelic drug, without actually consuming one, and without any of the brain fog or drunkenness that such substances induce. It is an entirely sober experience with your usual day-to-day awareness intact. Consequently, you are left with a hyper-aware state of perception, with a foundation in a familiar and calm sense of yourself. Yet, you are out of my mind and out of body. You are consciousness. The authenticity of the experience was so overwhelming and convincing that I amusingly had the instinctual habit of being careful not to wake up anyone in the house while I walked around, if that was even possible. I felt so normal and my usual self that I considered whether I would die or how I would get back inside my body. Usually, these types of thoughts cut the experience short for most people, but through meditation, I had adequate control over not letting such thoughts consume me. Getting a hold of myself, I intended to go outside. With the knowledge that this dimension was ultimately non-physical, I flew through my bedroom wall and came out hovering on the other side to see a beautiful clear night sky with the full moon shining its light on the lush treetops. I have never seen outside my mundane house with such a spiritual and magical quality before. It was visually stunning, but what's more was the sense of vibrancy, life, and emotion that emitted from everything I saw. I became so overwhelmed with what I was seeing that I woke up. I was in a state of shock and didn't go back to sleep that night. However, I was also overjoyed. I truly felt as though I had found some hidden treasure, stored on the edge of reality, located parallel to the physical dimension. This feeling had never really left me, and this sense of joy I always feel with every OBE. It is hard to not fall in love with such an experience. I got up, struggling to contain my excitement. I wrote down the experience in my journal, desperately trying to express in words the tangibility of it. As I did, I looked at my room and how it was precisely the same as how I'd experienced it. I went to my bedroom window to wave my hands through the moonlight and got shivers feeling how different it felt to do this physically. It somehow felt less vibrant. I wanted to be back in that dimension. The physical now felt like more of a dream, and to this day, I have rarely felt any different. However, I have learned that living more present in waking life can give almost the same quality as the astral plane. Afterwards, I left my bedroom and quietly went outside the door to see just how everything was exactly the same as I had seen, with the clear night sky and full moon shining its light on the treetops. I failed to sleep after this. I couldn't wait to tell loved ones what I had discovered. I felt born again, and ever since, I have never felt life in the same way. After 18 years of wondering what was behind this all, I had finally discovered the verge of something which clearly had extraordinary and meaningful potential to investigate. If I was able to access a world that was beyond the physicality of matter, what else could I discover through it? When I told loved ones, to my disappointment, I could see their uninterest, bewilderment, and skepticism. If only I could shake them out of their dreamlike state and show them it was real. It took some time for me to realize that telling people who aren't interested had little use. I'm sure this has been the heartfelt struggle of almost every person who has come to the same realization. Today, I believe awakening happens when people are ready, and even then, it is usually a gradual and gentle process. The exciting afterglow of this experience faded a little, and I continued my devoted meditation practice in a disciplined and profound way for many weeks. As well as the many OBEs that occurred, I also had multiple experiences in physical waking life where I would feel overflowed with pure conscious awareness. The path of astral projection clearly does not just affect our experience in sleep, but also has profound effects on our waking lives. This direct experience of out-of-body consciousness can be challenging to understand if you haven't experienced it for yourself. Still, you can get a taste of it through persistent and consistent meditation. It is a feeling of freedom away from the noise of the mind, which derives from an arising of inner peace and practical understanding. One specific experience I had spontaneously happened when I decided to go for a walk one day.